So today we're going to talk about something that's, well, it's really personal and incredibly important. How to talk to your child about an MS diagnosis. This is one of those conversations that takes a lot of courage and a lot of care. And our goal here is to give you a clear, supportive guide to hopefully make it just a little bit easier. You're probably here because you're facing one of the toughest conversations a parent can have. And look, it's totally normal to feel worried or anxious or just plain unsure about where to even start. That's what this explainer is for, to help you get prepared and feel a bit more confident. So that's the big question, right? How on earth do you explain something as complex as multiple sclerosis to a child? How do you share this life-changing news in a way that's honest and clear, but without being overwhelming or scary? Let's break down exactly how to do that step by step. And I want you to know, right off the bat, you are absolutely not alone in this. This quote from a parent who has been exactly where you are says it all. We kept it simple. We didn't want to frighten them with lots of information. This really gets to the heart of it, doesn't it? Simplicity and reassurance, those are going to be your most powerful tools. Okay, so to really get this right, we've got to try and see things from their perspective for a minute. Let's really dive into what might be going through your child's head when they hear this news. When a child hears news like this, their mind can just go into overdrive, and it can race to some very specific and often incorrect conclusions. They might immediately think, did I do something wrong? Is this my fault? Or if MS is something they can catch, like a cold. Just being prepared for these totally natural fears is the first step in being able to reassure them. But here's something really powerful and comforting to hold on to during this whole process. Kids, they can be so much more resilient and accepting of life's big changes than we often give them credit for. They really can handle difficult news, especially when they feel safe and loved and included in what's going on. Okay, so we've talked about the feelings involved. Now, let's get down to the nitty-gritty. This next part is basically an actionable playbook for the conversation itself, and it's based on some fantastic advice from child psychologist Lisa Happ. Think of this 7-step guide as your roadmap. First up, choose a time and place where you can talk face-to-face without any distractions. So yeah, probably not in the car. Keep it simple, stick to the basics at first. Go ahead and use the real medical terms, but then explain them simply. Be honest about any changes to their routine, and most importantly, let them know this isn't a one-time talk. This conversation is just the beginning. All right, let's talk about that moment that every parent dreads, right? What happens when your kid asks you a question and you just blank? You don't have the answer. It can feel like you're failing, but I promise you, it's actually a huge opportunity. The answer is actually pretty simple, but it's so powerful. Just be honest. It is absolutely okay to say, you know what, I don't know the answer to that, but let's try to find out together. This doesn't show weakness. It shows them you're honest, and it shows you're a team in this. That's how you build some incredible trust. And that idea, of finding out the answers together, that's so important because this isn't a one-and-done talk. It's really the start of an ongoing dialogue that's going to change and evolve as your child gets older. So let's look at a few tools to help you keep that conversation going. And the great news is you don't have to do all the heavy lifting yourself. There are some fantastic age-appropriate resources out there. For example, there's a book all about Tingo the nerve cell and these great Annie and Dan puppet videos. These can be just wonderful ways to explain MS in a gentle format and open the door for more questions down the line. As we start to wrap this up, I really want to leave you with this one essential reminder. After all the tips and the steps and the resources, please remember this simple truth. You are the expert on your child. You know them better than anyone. Trust your gut. Trust your instincts. So, we've given you a bit of a framework, some tools for the journey. The real question now is, what's your first step going to be? Maybe it's just finding that quiet moment to start the conversation. Maybe it's checking out one of those resources we mentioned. Whatever it is, you're now more prepared to take it. You've got this.